What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name's Matt.
My name is Dylan. Today is super exciting because we get to continue with just the Rampage award season has been on these last few weeks. And we're going to have the Golden Globes. By the time you're seeing this, we're probably within the day. So super exciting stuff. Second award season, second televised awards of the circuit so far. Exciting stuff is on the horizon.
Exciting stuff, and things are shifting so rapidly. As always, this is just what happens every year. And I'm trying to not let last weekend Critics' Choice Awards influence me too much in what's happening here. But I fear I am being influenced. I fear I'm being influenced. And look, I really have a feeling I'm going to do very poorly at these predictions because I'm gonna go out on a limb on a few things. I'm gonna take some of the where I think the race might be headed in the direction of rather than where it kind of is right now. So we'll see. We're gonna see how it goes. Anyways, Dylan, where would you like to start for the Golden Globes?
I mean, we have the Sinners poster right behind me, the website live. You see that cord? They told me they were going to give me a 20 or a 12-foot cord. That cord's not 12 feet, so we got that little cord dangling right there. But drama picture, why don't we start there? Because I know that we disagree over there. Because I am going with Sinners here. It's something that I've had winning this category for quite a long time now. I switched to Hamnet for like a week or so after I saw the movie when I thought Hamnet would be One Battle's biggest competition. That film has really failed to take off so far. And Sinners, as we talked about in our week roundup a little bit ago, is number two in critics wins. And why didn't win big of the critics choice, it's still, I would say, the biggest competition to One Battle, and it's not going against One Battle here in film drama, so that is why I'm going with it to win this category.
So I was going with Sinners. It is the obvious choice. It should win. And I think in most years, Sinners would win with most Globes voting bodies. But the Globes have been expanded, they've changed. The voting body is very, very different. They are very highbrow now. Not to say that highbrows don't love Sinners, they do. But someone on Reddit did the amazing task of finding every single Globes member that has a Letterboxd profile and averaging out their scores for the movies. Obviously, One Battle After Another was on top. It had like a 4.3 score. I was surprised to see Sinners had a 3.8. But you know what had like a 4.2? The Secret Agent. And with a highbrow voting body like this, and assuming that more voters have watched The Secret Agent since it got nominated in Drama Picture, since it got nominated in Drama Actor for Wagner Moura, I feel like this film is on the up and up. It's clear that the highbrows really love it. I'm so sad that I still don't love it, but the highbrows do love it. And the Golden Globes, I think, can be defined as that. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say The Secret Agent takes Best Picture Drama, and Sinners is left again. The bridesmaid, never the bride.
I mean, I don't think that is too crazy of a take with the stats that you did read there, with the fact that we know that Brazil and Latin America makes up a large chunk of our new Golden Globes voters. I think it does have a great chance. We were talking about would it even get nominated, and I think that's a large reason to why it did sneak in there as the sixth slot about a month ago. And now, just like I'm Still Here last year, people are getting the chance to see this movie. It's growing, it's growing and growing. And I mean, we could get to a point where Secret Agent is no longer Neon's number four. It's no longer Neon's number three. It's a top two film for Neon. I'm not quite there yet, but if it does win this, I think it's pretty safe to say it's at least Neon's number two.
I am almost at the point where I say that, I'm almost at the point that I think it's bigger than it was just an accident. I think accident's trajectory has been going down, Secret Agent has been going up. And I do believe that if the nominations voting was now, Secret Agent would be the one getting in director, not it was just an accident. I don't know how I feel about that for the Oscars at this point. We'll see. But I mean, we're recording this before all the guild stuff of this week happens. DGA, PGA. I wouldn't expect Panahi or Mendonça Filho to make it at the DGA, but PGA, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But right now, from this distance, I kind of think Accident miss it. Accident, I think, has a worse chance of making PGA than Secret Agent, which is like a wild change of pace. I don't know.
Comments are gonna love you after all this secret agent hate all season long. You're going with it here
I
at the
know.
Globes. It's a full circle moment here. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. Maybe we have on the awards roundup episode that we have yet to record, but it's coming out before this. Fun stuff's happening here at Fantasy
Yeah.
Filmball. I had the chance to see Secret Agent. I liked it. So you can't make fun of me anymore, comments.
You're
I
you're
enjoyed the
pro
movie.
Secret Agent.
Well, something I think both you and I can agree on, and awards expert, Gold Derby, whatever site you predict on, we'll all agree on. It's over in film, comedy, musical, because one battle after another is here. I have the poster up there. If it wins and Sanders loses, this poster will be changed next time we talk. But one battle, it's the clear choice here.
It's sweeping. I believe it. I don't think it'll lose a single picture award the rest of the season.
Well, let's go to another category where it's basically all filler spots, and that's Best Animated Feature. Let's just do all these picture awards up
Go
top.
for it.
K-pop Demon Hunters, but here it's the Golden Globes. They've gone international the last 2 years. They went away from Wild Robot, went away from Spider-Verse, but this year, like, I don't know, Arco and Little Amelie don't feel like they have the juice or the sauce as a Miyazaki film, or Flow, which dominated the festival run. Like, I saw Little Amelie at a festival. The screening was half empty, while with Flow, you had to fight to even get inside that screening.
Yeah, it's just K-pop at this point. I really feel like uh, there has not been an indie or international film that has like presented itself as a viable upset, as a viable contender to take it down. It just there's nothing else at this point that makes any sense for it.
So animated feature, super easy. International, or I guess here at the Globes, best non-English language film, pretty hard. I can assume we are going based off of best drama picture, but we have the five neon films here, and we have my beloved The Voice of Henry Rajab, which has no chance of an actual win, but I'm happy that it's at least here.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see. We've got four picture nominees in this category of best non-English language feature. And so, like, this is just really another picture. But obviously, since I'm going Secret Agent in drama, I have to go with it here, right? Like, I have to go both of those. I will just say, like, I don't think that this is the Critics' Choice Award result influencing me too much. I really think it just is like there just seems to be so much momentum. Part of that is Critics' Choice, yes, but there really is this feeling of love going in the direction of the Secret Agent. And like I said before, looking at those letterboxd results, Secret Agent is far ahead of everything else. Although they do really, really like the aggregate is really strong for sentimental value, and it was just an accident. So I think it's any of those three.
I hear all of your great points about the Secret Agent. I really want to make the Secret Agent as my pick here. I think it's bold. I think it's has the tread to happen, but I'm not ready to give up on it was just an accident yet. Obviously, we just had CCA, but the Golden Globe voting was done before those awards came out. So even if someone was maybe on the fence of which film they wanted to go with, they wouldn't have had that information yet. So that's why I'm still staying with it was just an accident. But if Secret Agent wins here, I'm not going to be shocked. For me, those are the top two with sentimental value, and number three, then very far off would be something like maybe Surratt in a crazy Globes, what are you doing sort of thing like they did with what was the film that year? All Quiet wasn't even a sweeper.
Argentina 1985.
Yeah, and then like in Argentina 1985 way, maybe Sirach can surprise and shock everyone. But I'm going with Accident now. But I do think Secret Agent, if it wins here, I wouldn't be shocked. And then I think that Brazil can go back to back in an international feature if that happens here.
I would still be really surprised if the Secret Agent won the Oscar just because of the multi-branch factor and the fact that no matter what happens with Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, it was just an accident. Sentimental Value will have the most nominations of any of those films at the Oscars.
I
And
agree.
like, I don't see a world where it's even possible for Secret Agent to get into original screenplay. It has not gotten any precursors so far, despite being clearly loved in other categories. It hasn't gotten anything there. Like, Sentimental Value just has such broad appeal. I guess you could say the same thing about like Emilia Perez last year having 11 nominations and then losing to I'm Still Here with three nominations. But like, it's just one of those things. I'll have to believe it when I see it. I'm gonna go Secret Agent here, but that doesn't change my mind riding with Sentimental Value for the Oscars.
I mean, I don't think Stellan Skarsgård's out here dropping slurs left and right like Emilia Perez had last year. So that factor won't have to play in. But let's just finish all this Brazil talk. We just hyped up Brazil so much in this episode. Why don't we have one more category? Best film, drama, actor. And to get my Brazil card revoked, I like the movie, but I'm still going with Michael B. Jordan with Sinners inside this category. I've had it for a few months now. I'm not going to give up now. But Wagner Moore is the odds-on favorite at this moment.
Remarkably torn for the fact that I have Secret Agent winning drama picture. I really just have a draw towards Michael B. Jordan winning. But I am gonna go Wagner Moura. I have to stick with the Secret. If it's winning drama and it's winning non-English language, why would it lose actor? It makes no sense. So I'm gonna go Wagner Moura. I wanted to have Michael B. Jordan or Joel Edgerton here, but like it would not make sense for the Secret Agent to win those other prizes and lose this one.
I'm not ready to see what social media does if Michael B. Jordan loses another acting prize. The last few days have been an insane read on any platform you want to go on to. And if Wagner Moura beats him, a film that I'm sure even less people have seen than Marty Supreme, there's going to be some very interesting takes out there.
So moving over to Best Actress in a Drama, this one feels clean and locked up. Jessie Buckley started her sweep with the Critics' Choice Awards. Why would she lose here, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, who even would be number two in this category? Oh, no, never mind. We're not to Ryan's fault. She would be number two. But, like, after that, I had my calendar always confused. But yeah, she's good here. Like, why would she lose? She didn't even lose CCA. She's going to be fine here. And I think, funny enough, in this award season, the denial of Hamnet to the rise of Hamnet to now the inevitable fall of Hamnet, going from a film that everyone's like, oh, there's no way this is actually going to be real, to like, oh my gosh, what if it wins Best Picture? To now like, it's lucky if it wins more than one Oscar. Crazy stuff for Focus Features.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're at a point when Paul Mescal is like probably the fifth place in supporting actor. That's crazy. But let's not talk about supporting actor. Let's move over to the comedy awards and we'll circle back to supporting. So, best actress in a comedy. I mean, Jessie Buckley and Rose Byrne. That's what this whole season has been. Rose Byrne takes this. I thought maybe she could eke out a Critics' Choice win, but it just seems like she's destined to have this be her one major precursor prize.
I agree. She should win this. She's expected to win this, but I would not be shocked. I'm not predicting this, but I will beat myself up over if this does happen. I wouldn't be shocked to see Chase Infinity take this with just a giant one battle after another sweep. I'm not going there. I think that would be absolutely insane for the Globes to do. I just think that there could be some crazy stuff in the acting categories, and if it would happen, this is the category I feel like it could because Rose Byrne is a sole nominee for her film. While she's going against people in stronger films, but I just don't think Infinity has that win juice behind her at the moment. But if she did win, I feel like it'd be very much like Sebastian Stan last year. Like no one was predicting that, and then once it happened, like oh, I guess that makes sense.
Rose Byrne is such a highbrow pick. She's been a
Hmm.
highbrow pick. She almost swept the trifecta. Frankly, probably should have swept the trifecta. National Society of Film Critics like went out of their way to make sure that didn't happen. She got a runner-up prize there. But to me, the highbrow pick, the critics' favorite, that beats the like borderline supporting contender who's up for the award. I don't know. I'm not ready to say that one battle is going to have a sweep that big that they'd bring Chase Infinity along with it. That would be big, big, big. But speaking of a place where they could bring someone along with it, actor in a comedy, where are you right now? Are you saying Timothy Chalamet keeps a sweep rolling? He keeps the snowball going, or are we saying Leo wins here?
So this is where I think CCA is clouding my head a little bit. I would have said Leo before Critics' Choice, and the fact that Critics' Choice still gave the award to one battle on picture but wouldn't with Timmy makes me kind of in between stuff. And Mario Supreme's had an insane run these last few weeks. After we saw before the embargo lifted, the word was it was really good, that people loved Timmy, but people aren't really connecting with this character. And then the opening weekend, the box office kept going up and up and up, while the audience scores are going down a little bit. It still seems people at large are really liking this movie and specifically liking this performance. And something I wouldn't be shocked to see is Chalamet do the opposite of what he did for Complete Unknown last year, where every place he lost, he wins this year. And then at SAG, he loses out this year. So I'm going with Timmy here. But again, if Leo wins, I'm not going to be too surprised.
Yeah, and in supporting actor, like I said, Paul Mescal, he's number 5. We previously thought he might be a win contender. But of course, we had last weekend's big surprise of Jacob Elordi. We are definitely not predicting that to happen again. But I think that this might be our chaos category of this year. I feel like we've got 3 really strong, possibly even 4 really strong win contenders between Stellan Skarsgård, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Jacob Elordi. All 4 of those, I think, have a great narrative, and I think all of them will be picking up awards at some point through this season. Personally, I'm sticking with my heart. I want to see Stellan Skarsgård pick something up through the season, and I think his most likely places are Globes and BAFTA. And yeah, Globes do love One Battle After Another, so I could see them go Benicio, but I'm gonna stay with Stellan Skarsgård. I'm gonna keep with my boy.
I have no real clue what to do in this category. Stellan has had the narrative all season long. He was the front runner right out of the gate out of the Cannes Film Festival. And then with the critics groups, they went with another direction. They went with Benicio del Toro in One Battle, which both of us, we loved the movie. But that doesn't seem like the character that you pick from the whole acting 5, 6 people deep that you're like, oh, that's the one that should win awards. Sean Penn, I guess in retrospect, like last year, you were so in the camp for Guy Pearce and like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to sweep. And I feel like I made that mistake again this year with Sean Penn. Be like, oh my gosh, I love this performance so much. He's chewing the scenery. He is the movie. He is the fun of the movie. Let's get the sweep again going. And it's not happening. He's won about the same as Stella in terms of critics, but they're both trailing behind Benicio. However, with Critics' Choice going to Lordy, I kind of could see that taking off. He's been a guy who's worked around these last few years, has built a name for himself, continues to do more and more elevated pictures. It's just like he's playing the monster. Is that something that people really are going to go out of their way to vote for
But
a
he's
win?
elevated it so much. Like
He
that's why
has,
he
and
won the award. He brought that to a new level that he's given that role dimension that people did not expect to see in it.
And
So
I agree.
such an
And that's
astounding.
exactly why I'm going with him here. Just like we
You
saw
are?
last year with Critics'
Whoa!
Choice of Golden Globe going with Demi Moore, elevating this type of performance that shouldn't be in the awards conversation whatsoever. I'm going crazy because I don't feel good about predicting anyone else. I don't want to keep being sad predicting Sean Penn to win, and he continues not to win because this man can't hold a conversation to save his life. He's on actors and actors, and that's it for campaigning. And I can't bring myself to predict the other two. So why don't we go crazy? I think at Critics' Choice, we were within one prediction of each other in terms of our final totals. Here at Golden Globes, we're going very much against each other. So this little battle that we've had going is it's going to have some numbers fluctuate throughout this
Oh
evening.
yeah. That's very interesting. I'm glad you're predicting a Lordy. That's going to be really fun to see. But yeah, I saw someone, I think it was again on Reddit, someone comparing One Battle After Another supporting actors to 2 other movies, being The Departed and Django Unchained. With The Departed, you have Jack Nicholson, who is in this big gangster role. He is the guy in that movie. He's the villain. But then who gets the supporting actor nomination? Mark Wahlberg, who shows up in like 3 scenes and tells people to go fuck themselves. Like he's the one who is a little bit easier to vibe with because he's not the big bad. And he's making the most of every moment he's on screen. And in Django Unchained, the early frontrunner was Leonardo DiCaprio. But he's playing a slave owner, like the most evil, vile person imaginable is Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. So who ends up getting the awards instead? Well, it's the ally. It's the good guy, the supporting actor who is there to support the main character rather than to go against the main character. And so then you've got Christoph Waltz winning. And so I've seen a lot of comparisons, and it's making more sense why people are going in the direction of Benicio del Toro than Sean Penn, because Sean Penn is Lockjaw is such a vile character that as fun as he is to watch, he's still vile. But I
Hmm.
do look back at Django Unchained. I do look back at The Departed, and I think, Why were those the supporting actors that they went with when the other one commands the entire movie? And it really, I do think it comes down to people have a line that they draw between a fun villain and a villain that's just a terrible person.
I think you summed it up really well. And I think the biggest difference from what we saw with those actors that you just mentioned that failed to get the nomination and what I would assume would happen here with Sean Penn and One Battle After Another is the fact that this film is our eventual Best Picture winner. So it has the juice to overcome, where it's like, it's such a gross character, even if you're playing the role really well. But I mean, it's interesting to see is we've had a pretty consistent six everywhere that we've gone so far. My cat's come in here to say hi. But it'll be interesting to see which one is the one to fall off. And hopefully it's not Sean Penn, but maybe it is instead of someone like Adam Sandler or Paul Mescal.
So, in supporting actress, I am gonna ride the wave of an Amy Madigan sweep, which feels insane. But you know what? Like, why not? The industry clearly loves her. She is getting support from both highbrows and the middlebrow critics. I think that she can get support from the guilds. I think she can get support everywhere. And so if I'm predicting that, I have to go with a Golden Globe win here. But I think that there's three very reasonable possibilities because Inga Ibsdottir Lilius is going to appeal to the Globes, as is Teyana Taylor. I mean, Teyana Taylor's in the movie that they are going to love above everything else, but Inga just feels like the type of performance that this group would go for. But I'm still going to go Amy Madigan.
Yeah, I think supporting actress is something that I'm having to come to terms with because even though I am a huge weapons head, I love this movie. We just released our 10 favorite films of 2025, and that was one of my inclusions in the list. I've been like, oh, there's no way Amy Madigan can happen. She's not going to happen. She's going to be the one that fails at the end of the day, and we just saw her win the Critics' Choice. And I think there's two paths for Madigan here on out. I think it's either what you said, she's just going to go on the sweep, she's going to win every televised award, and even though Weapons may not get another nomination, this performance is so acclaimed, it's so beloved that she rides her way to a victory. Or the opposite is what I'm going with at this moment, where she is Angela Bassett and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She wins the early awards, and then once people see, hey, this is actually what's going to happen, they're going to switch to something that either fits more of what they want to see or with the films that they love a lot more. So I do have Amy Madigan winning here at the Golden Globes, but I do have Teyana Taylor going on to win both SAG, the BAFTA, and the Oscar.
Mm, interesting. Interesting. We could see this be the chaos category as well. Like, I really think that the supporting categories are so in flux right now. And I love
Totally.
that. I love that we really have no clear idea of where they're going to go. Like, I think the lead categories are pretty clear at this point, especially lead actress. Lead actor, a little less so. There's still a little bit of variation, although it's probably just going to be Timothy. But supporting, I don't even know where to begin. I don't
I
even
mean,
know where to begin.
we haven't done as many prediction videos this year just due to so many things with you moving to go to grad or film school and me doing travel with work and now with a new job. But I feel like consistently through every acting prediction video that we did, I always said, I hope this is the year that we get an award or we get a category where each award show goes to a different person. And I feel like we have two realistic possibilities, like you just said, in both our supporting categories. So for the love of the insanity, I hope that Elordi and Madigan don't win here, even if I do love their performances and I'm predicting them, because I hope that we get at least three different winners in a category. And if we can go to all four, that would be great.
Anyways, let's move to Best Director. I don't think we need to talk much about this. PTA. It's PTA.
It's PTA, and I couldn't even tell you who's number two. You
Yeah,
could
right,
say
Googler.
it's the film drama winner potentially of Sinners. It could be a potential screenplay winner of some of our other people, but it's just PTA. Even if he loses out on picture for some real weird reason, which won't happen, he's still going to win director.
And let's move over to screenplay now, which I think is a real legitimate battle for the first time in these main categories. Because both One Battle After Another and Sinners have been picking up all the screenplay prizes all over the place. They've been winning everything. And the Globes typically leans towards original screenplays. Now, last year Conclave won, so that was an adapted screenplay. But before last year, the last adapted screenplay to win was Steve Jobs in 2015. And before that, it was 2010, The Social Network. They overwhelmingly, like 4 out of 5 years will go for an original screenplay, which would lean in the direction of Sinners, and then it would be a way to spread the love. But I'm just gonna go one battle after another. I think that they're gonna love it enough to just shower it with everything.
And I don't think there's anything wrong in that. I would assume it's the odds-on favorite across every application you could look at. And I would say if it's not one battle, if it's not Sinners, we could see something like The Anatomy of a Fall year where they go crazy. It's sentimental value. It was just an accident. Maybe even Marty Supreme to, like you said, spread the love and reward something else.
Well, moving over to a category that has been the yearly consolation prize. Sorry you didn't win. Here's an award. Cinematic and box office achievement. Now, this is where I'm going to go Sinners. I'm going to say that the Globes go different on Best Drama. They don't go Sinners, and instead they go, here's your Globe, Ryan Coogler. Here you go. You win this one. So, I mean, we saw that with Barbie, lost comedy musical, won cinematic box office achievement. Last year with Wicked. Like, this is just the pattern that we get, that the big blockbuster that is getting all that buzz in the season, it doesn't win its main picture category. It does win cinematic and box office achievement. So we should be prepped for that possibility, I guess. It could win both. It could break that 2 year streak that we've got going. Not a lot of data for it, but I do wonder if there are any voters who would put Sinners down in this category or would not vote it in Best Drama because they could vote for it here.
I think that's a great point. I mean, you say there's not been much data, but that's all the data we have for this category is it's been here for 2 years and it's gone to the film that could win another category, but gets this one instead. So I could hedge my bets. I could just predict Sinners here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do for the first time in this category's existence, it gives it to the film that's going to make either the most or the second most amount of money. And I am going with Avatar Fire and Ash. It's a consolation prize, not even getting nominated over in drama. The fact that it's going to be either the highest grossing or the second highest grossing on this list. And the fact that they haven't had this category to award in the past. It would have won this award for '09. It would have won this award for The Way of Water. And maybe it will just win the award this time around.
I think that is a crazy choice. Uh, Kudos to you if it pays off, but yeah, I don't think Avatar's. I don't think
Hey,
that they love it that much. I don't think
they may not
most
love it
people
that
love it that
much,
much.
but I think that if they're going off of the category's name, it has an argument. And I feel like you could look at Sinners and say it's a cinematic box office achievement domestically. But we keep saying how this is an international voting body, and Sinners made less money outside the US than the fucking Beekeeper. So I don't know if that's going to play a part to anyone voting or whatnot. But I would say going off of Sinners and I would say going away from Sinners and Avatar. Another film I think could pull off a shocking upset here is a film that had 6 days in theatrical release, being K-pop Demon Hunters. But
I agree.
again, it's winning animated. So, but maybe it doesn't win animated. Maybe instead of being a drama or a comedy winner, it's like, oh, you don't win animated. We're going with Amelie. We're going with Arco. Here, take cinematic and box office achievement. But probably
But
not.
to me, the way I see this category is not biggest box office achievement. What it is best film that also made money.
Yeah, that's
So to
probably what it
me,
will be.
it has nothing to do with no one is going to be logging on. Not a single Globes voting member is going to be checking Box Office Mojo to be like, what made the most money? Avatar. Like they're not going to be checking Netflix's streaming numbers for K-pop Demon Hunters. They're just
I
going to
will say
list and
the
go, oh wow, Sinners is a great movie that also made a lot of money. We should give kudos for that.
I would say the one thing that backs me up here, because I agree, your mentality and your thought process here is the much more logical one, is the fact that Oppenheimer lost this award and it was up for the nomination and it won drama, it won director, it won lead actor,
Yeah.
it won supporting actor, but it lost to Barbie, which I would say was equally, if not even more so, a box office achievement. So
Oh yeah. Well, that was
we'll
a
have to see how this
huge
award plays.
huge box office achievement, and like to me this is just it's the popular audience award, and I do think that there is an element. So to your point, if Sinners is winning drama, they might stray away from it here, but I don't see a consensus number two that could
Mhm.
take it instead.
Let's go to one more category I think we are on agreement on before we get to our final category of the day that might have some more variance to it. Let's go with Best Original Score. At one point, people thought this would be a major mashup between two films, duking it out all season long, but kind of just looks like Sinners is just going to go into sweep Ludwig #3.
It really feels like Sinners is just going to sweep because it's catchy. It's really catchy music versus like One Battle After Another is so it's discordant. It's not easy to listen to, and scores like that don't win all the time. So Sinners, I think, is going to win this, and it's going to go on to sweep. And in the best original song category, I correctly called Golden last
You
weekend.
did. You did.
However, Old Globes absolutely would have gone golden. Absolutely, Old Globes would have gone golden. I think the more highbrow Globes, I don't see why they would go with a radio pop song. So I'm gonna go I Lied to You here.
What are some of the Globe's recent winners? Because I know the year Barbie, which should have been a key off for the Critics' Choice, which you did talk about in our prediction episode there, is the fact that they went with I'm Just Ken over What Was I Made For, while the Globes flip-flopped that. But while I am in agreement, I predicted I Lied to You and I was wrong. I kind of want to switch over to Golden because it's doing stuff I wouldn't expect it to do so far. But sell me on this a little bit.
Okay, so in the past few years, the Golden Globes have gone El Mal. And they did nominate multiple pop songs, but they went El Mal over them. When they had all three Barbie songs, including Dance the Night and I'm Just Ken, they went What Was I Made For, while Critics' Choice went I'm Just Ken. Critics' Choice goes more poppy, as usual, and Golden Globes, they are what they are. In 2022, Not To, also translated over. No Time to Die, also translated over. The last time they were wrong was in 2020 when they went with Diane Warren's IOC,
Ooh.
The Life Ahead. And that was a weird, weird year. Before that, it's not really worth looking back too much because obviously the body is very different. Like you look back to 2017, This Is Me from The Greatest Showman one. Um, like they went with the big poppy star-driven songs, the ones that they knew would pull in viewership.
You convince me. Maybe you'll convince some people down below in the comments. I will go with I Lied to You as well. My last stand here, but if Golden wins this, I think I'm just going to have to go with Golden for the Oscar if it has both of the precursors.
Well, I'll have to do some research into that and see the amount of times that both the Critics' Choice and the Golden Globe went with a film, went with a song, and it didn't win the Oscar, because I know that there have been quite a few times that that has happened.
Because if it gets both, it just reminds me of Not To, a song I did deny again and again and again until it just kept winning everything. Where I feel like if Golden wins both and it's attached to a possible animated feature winner, it's kind of too much for me to pry away from at that point. But I do have I Lied to You here, last stand though.
Anyways, that brings us to the end of today's episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, helps us grow. And as always, my name's Matt.
My name's Dill, and this has been Fantasy Filmball.